Welcome to Heritage on your doorstep. Mickey Cooper's a local historian and he's going to take you on a short journey of the history of Creggan Country Park. Before we begin, we'd just like to say thanks to all our funders: Department for Communities, the National Lottery Community Fund, Live Here, Love Here, Derry City and Strabane District Council, the Halifax Foundation, the FOR, Community Foundation for Northern Ireland, the Executive Office, Department for Foreign Affairs, the EU and the Peter Harrison Foundation.
So where did Creggan get its name? The term Creggan actually means rocky place. The actual townland of Creggan sits in the back roads behind the Creggan Country Park, and the townlands of Eden Ballymore and Ballymagowan actually make up the Creggan estate. Ballymagowan means the townland of the canons. This name suggests there were religious sites within the area which would have been dissolved during the Reformation. During the plantation of Ulster in the early 17th century, the land where the Creggan Country Park is now based was taken over by the Honourable the Irish Society, the organisation established by the Companies of London to administer the plantation here in the county of Derry. However, disputes continued in the courts between themselves and the Church of Ireland, who claimed the land was actually under their ownership. What we do know is that the Church of Ireland Bishop of Derry, Frederick Harvey, used the land around the Creggan Country Park as a deer park in the late 18th century to store his large supply of deer, which were used for his supply of venison. Creggan Country Park site sits on a height overlooking the mouth of a major river, and is very similar in style to Mount Sandal, the area of Coleraine where the earliest evidence of human existence in Ireland was discovered in the 1960s. Therefore, it is no surprise that a number of archaeological discoveries have been made in nearby areas, including a Neolithic Cromlech table stone in Ballymagorty, referenced in the 1830 Ordnance Survey memoir, and also Bronze Age discoveries such as a pit grave in the city cemetery and a kiss grave in Upper Creva, just behind the Creggan Country Park, which both contain human bones. Just outside the Creggan Country Park is the Cropie or Raff. Rafts were common across Ireland and usually were formed from a steep mound, flat on top and surrounded by a wide trench. Whilst the local people would occupy houses in the trench, the local chieftain's home would sit on top of the mound and demonstrate his local status. The nearby Raff or Cropie was probably actually used as a pound to enclose cattle at night, and was also likely used as a guard post by James II's armies during the 1689 siege. During the siege, James II's armies also used the wider hills of Creggan from Southway across the Eastway as firing points. They also used the area around the Cropie and the present-day Creggan Heights as a camp, as they were sheltered from gunfire coming from the city walls. There is anecdotal evidence of archaeological discoveries, including human remains being found during the construction of the Creggan estate between the 1940s and 1960s, probably dating from the siege period. As the population in Derry began to expand in the mid-19th century, the existing water supplies coming from wells in areas like Pump Street and from reservoirs in areas now known as the Fountain Estate were deemed inadequate for the growing population. Therefore, 2 new reservoirs were opened in the Creggan to supply drinking water to the growing population. Another reservoir was added in the lower basin in the 1880s to supply water to clean the streets, where a lot of horses would have roamed on a regular basis. The water from the reservoirs was also used to service a number of local industries, including the Glen Laundry on the Glen Road, which laundered shirts made by the local shirt-making industry. By 1935, the Creggan Reservoir supply was deemed insufficient, leading to the opening of Banagher Dam and also the Calais Reservoir in the same period. The growth of Derry into the Shantallow and new industrial estates in Maydown and Campsie in the 1970s also saw the Carn Money treatment works being built. Ultimately, all of these other projects saw the Creggan reservoirs being closed. By the 1980s, the now obsolete Creggan reservoirs had become very, very poor in condition. In 1992, Creggan Enterprises, a local social enterprise agency, made an agreement with the local council to develop the site as a fisheries and outdoor activity centre. 28 years later, the Creggan Country Park is still going strong, employing local people and providing enjoyment, food and leisure to thousands of visitors over the years.
Since 1997, we've been working to become a centre for best practice for climate change adaptation and mitigation. This is more important than ever as we're already starting to see the effects of climate change. Part of this plan involved utilising renewable energy from water in the form of hydro. Hydro is basically generating electricity from the natural movement of water. Our activity centre is now host to a biomass boiler, which reduces our reliance on fossil fuels, and the efficient system ensures that the building and the water is kept warm for our visitors. We're currently working with Action Renewables on a feasibility study to install solar PV, and we will use all of our combined technologies to host best practice visits for businesses and to train students in renewable energy engineering. In addition to our renewable energy technologies, we've introduced some energy efficient measures within the building, including a turf roof. You'll see in the diagram that it can keep the heat in during the winter, so we don't have to keep reheating the building, which saves us energy and money. We also have energy saving lighting, water saving taps, compost bins, and recycling facilities, all to help the environment. Our 100-acre site is host to mixed woodland, species-rich wet grassland, 3 freshwater lakes, and a wetland. We're host to 42 species of breeding birds, including buzzards and sparrowhawks and ravens. We have 4 species of bats, including the Debentons bat, Leisler, common and soprano pipistrelles. We have a whole range of aquatic and terrestrial invertebrates, and loads of other mammals. Butterfly species include the red admiral and the small copper, and we also have honeybees on site, and you'll see the beehives if anyone ever visits the fishery. So we continue to work to improve biodiversity by carrying out species recording throughout the year. This allows us to create a habitat management plan and allows us to support vulnerable species. Here you'll see an example of urban regeneration. This area has gone from a disused basketball court into a thriving nature hub used by all the community. So within the nature hub, we have an outdoor classroom, a hedgerow maze, a raised bed and pond area, replanted pedal boats, and loads of games and outdoor activities, and a forest school area. So this is for schools and other groups to use whenever they want to get outdoors and use nature to help improve their mental and physical health. Our environmental education program, Nature's Classroom, is now in its 13th year and hosts over 2,000 pupils a year, taking part in things from renewable energy, pond dipping, bug hunt, wildlife days, treasure hunts, and even bat detecting. We host a wide range of events throughout the year, all aimed at getting people outdoors and having fun to improve their physical and mental health.